Welcome to Hope Academy. My name is Mr. O, and today I'm going to be going over specifically numbers 10 through 12 on the SAT Math Level 2 from CrackSAT.net. So for these questions, usually I go over them real quickly and then I explain in depth how to do the question. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So for number 10, which of the following must be true? Okay. No, that's not true. Okay, so for number 10, my final answer is D, and now I'm going to explain to you how I was able to get to this question. So in order to understand this concept, which is this is a more abstract question, this is based on the idea of unicircles, okay? And so I imagine as if when I'm thinking about unicircle, I think starting at like some unknown angle. So let's say 30 degrees, because 30 degrees helps to imagine this. So when I think of sine of negative 30 degrees, I'm going to be down here. So if you think about my y-axis right here, it's going to become negative. So my y-axis becomes negative for the first option, okay? And then if I think of negative sine of whatever value, technically I'm starting at 30 degrees, getting the positive value, and then making it negative. Thus why the first choice is true, okay? So this is true. For the second choice, let's take 30 degrees again. If I take cosine of negative 30 degrees, I go down here, but the parts that cosine represents my x-axis. So cosine represents x-axis or x-coordinate. Sine will represent my y-coordinate. And just remember that tangent will be my y over x coordinate, okay, technically. So the idea is that cosine, even when I have a negative inside here, will still be positive. But if I take a cosine and then normal cosine theta, I get the positive value but make it negative. Thus why the choice 2 will not work, okay? And for number 3, the idea for number 3 is that I take tangent of negative theta. What happens is that it's going to be a positive and a negative value, so it's going to become negative, the general value. When it comes to tangent theta first, I take x and y. It is a positive value until I put the negative. Thus, both values are going to be negative. Thus, 3 does work. And that's thus why my final answer is D. And thus, that concludes my explanation for how to do number 10. Okay? And so, I'm going to move this out of the way now. So, for number 11, no, I'm going to continue on. So, number 11. If all real functions defined by f, okay, 2x, and that's okay, 15 and 14. Okay. Okay. So for number 11, my final answer is B. And now I'm going to explain to you how I was able to get to this answer so quickly. So for this question, this is a question that's based on functions and understanding sort of their domain that exists or their parameters are provided based on certain functions. And so what they tell you is that when x does not equal to 13, it will be 2. And when x equals to 13, it will be 4. And so if you notice right here, 15 and 14 are both your x values, and thus because both of them are not equal to 13, both of these values will end up being 2 and 2. So 2 minus 2 will be 0, and thus how I was able to get to the answer of B. And that concludes my explanation for number 11. So now to continue on to number 12, the last questions for today. So, okay. So this one I want a calculator, because calculators are allowed under Math 2C. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to need a decimal value for that. Okay, so for number 12, my final answer is D. And now I'm going to go ahead and explain to you how I was able to get to this question answered so quickly. So for this question, when they state x fifth over 25 equals to 25, I know right off I could multiply both sides by 25. And so on the calculator, if you saw, I did 25 times 25, and it gave me 625. Afterwards, I could do the fifth root to both sides. So x will equal to the fifth root of 625. Or on the calculator, you could write 625, this caret symbol, to 1 divided by 5, because that's equivalent to a fifth root. And it's going to give you that answer of 3.62, what I just found on the calculator, which is why my final answer for this question will be D. And that does conclude my explanation for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter so that we could continue to make content like this. I hope you have a wonderful day.